Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
Well, we did it. We got out of frigid February, and March isn't necessarily much better. It's pretty cold out there today, but the Manster and myself said, let's start warming shit up in our minds. Let's start thinking positive. Let's start thinking warm thoughts. Let's start thinking about lounging on a boat with your best lady by your side, some smooth guitar, maybe a falsetto bearded man's voice bathing over you like suntan lotion in Laguna Beach. And we also said, let's make sure to do an episode that's going to guarantee to get less downloads than normal.
That was our real goal here.
Real goal.
Let's see if we get the least amount of downloads ever.
Everybody who runs into me tells me they like the music episodes that we do very rarely, but then nobody listens to them. So
right.
It's either they're being very nice, they're like, oh, they did a music episode, I have to say something nice about it, or only those people like them. But whatever. Welcome to The Pint. My name is John.
My name is Lloyd.
We're talking all about the phenomenon that in the last, 15 years or so has kind of taken on the name of yacht rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Manster, I don't know. Here's some things I read about yacht rock. There was the documentary on HBO that I did watch, and it was quite good. But yacht rock initially started off as a bunch of sketch comedians on YouTube making these little silly videos, and they took this kind of, I guess, formation of soft music from a certain era, 70s, 80s, and called it yacht rock. Now, here are some of the rules I read that are supposed to make a song a yacht rock song.
Probably matches my rules.
Just a couple.
All right.
Polished with high production values.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Love themes. Lost loves, staying in love, a lot of that stuff. Smooth and relaxing, even if it's up-tempo, right? Like, you can't get you can't have a drum solo in a yacht rock song, or you shouldn't at least. And a lot of escapism themes, also sitting in yacht rock. Lloyd, you had said to me that you kind of had some feelings on yacht rock. I want to hear them before we get into our songs, which, by the way, we'll be doing our top 10 each. And then I have to go grab a couple of our friends' top 5 lists. So
we got some top 5s. All right.
You got 3 top 5 lists from some friends that we'll read off as well at the end of the episode. So, Manster, give me your take on yacht rock.
Yeah. Well, like you said, smooth, polished, some synthesizers, influences of jazz, R&B, and soul, mellow, melodic, has a sort of Southern California West Coast sound, all the stuff you said. And another one for me anyway, it's like nostalgic.
Yeah.
Right. Because it wasn't a genre. It's not, to me, a genre.
It's not a genre.
But they're calling it a genre, but it's really just a style of soft rock that was popular in the 70s and early 80s even.
Look, let's be honest.
It's very fluid.
This is a good way. Genres of music are very fluid because think about it. In 1985, no matter what our age difference is, classic rock was Led Zeppelin and The Who and the Beatles.
Yeah.
In 2025, classic rock is Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses and, those bands as well as the ones that we thought of were. So as time goes on, things shift into new formations.
Yeah.
I think that's what yacht rock is. I think yacht rock is somebody just said, oh, well, look, we have all these kind of like easy listening kind of songs from a certain era.
Yeah, kind of songs.
Right, that kind of fit. Because I'll be honest, I got my list of 10, and I looked them up all to see if they were anywhere listed as yacht rock. And there are some that were, and the only reason I picked them for this list is because they said they were, and I love the song, but I wouldn't necessarily throw it into yacht rock. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah, I'll tell you. I found something similar very recently, actually, right before this podcast.
Okay.
I was just looking some stuff up, and I actually made a change because I'm like, I felt, all right, if I'm going to try and represent yacht rock, you know, I may have my feelings about the term and what it actually means, but at least I should have songs that are considered yacht rock. So I had to take one of my songs out because I found a thing called the yacht ski scale. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
I didn't see it until like an hour before this podcast. And then what I did was I went and looked up all my songs on the yacht ski scale, and all of them appeared on the scale somewhere except for one. And it was a 0. So it never even showed up on the scale. So I took that song and I'm going to put it in my honorable mentions, and I replaced it with a different song that I like.
Okay.
And then if you want to, I have the top 10 yacht ski scale songs starting at 100. The highest is 100.
Give us the top 10 so that we can see if we have any on ours when we talk about them. But also, I want a baseline. I want to know.
All right. It's all about the baseline, this yacht rock scale. Everything, what is considered the quintessential yacht rock song, it has a score of 100, is the Doobie Brothers' What a Fool Believes.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
That's 100. So I'll go down from there. Kenny Loggins' Heart to Heart is the next one, 99.625. Michael McDonald, I Keep Forgetting Every Time You're Near. Notice those 3 songs are pretty much related, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Kenny Loggins, This Is It, 98.25. Airplay, Nothing You Can Do About It. I'm sure I know this song, but I don't recognize it by the title.
I don't know it by title. I also admittedly don't think I know Heart to Heart by Kenny Loggins, to be honest.
It's one of those things I think we're just going to recognize it if we heard it.
Yeah.
Another Kenny Loggins, Who's Right, Who's Wrong, 96.125. Then Toto by Rosanna, 95.75. Human Nature by Michael Jackson, 96.5. Al Jarreau, Girls Know How. And then rounding it off at 10, I don't know this, Maxis, Nobody's Business.
I don't know that one either. I don't know the Al Jarreau. The Al Jarreau one I might know. Al Jarreau I just mainly know from, he had that, the theme song to Moonlighting, which is fucking great. But yeah.
And Toto, Rosanna, I mean, that's on like everyone's top of their list.
Yeah.
I just took songs. I grew up in the 70s, right? 1970 to 1980. I was, all the way from a preteen to a teen. And some of this music is so nostalgic to me, and I put songs on there just because I loved them when I was a kid.
All right, well, let's get into it. Fuck it. Let's get right the fuck into this. Why don't we start with you, Manster, with your number 10 yacht rock song?
I bet this isn't even on anyone's radar, but by Exile, Kiss You All Over from 1978.
I do know that song, yeah. Not on my list, but I know that song.
It has a yacht ski scale of 21.75.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's on the scale, lower quarter. It did reach number 1 in the Billboard Hot 100 chart at some point. It has that smooth, it's very sensual. It's got that it's just very polished and well produced. Like every song we're going to talk about has a polished, well produced sound.
It's a lovemaking song.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's got a little disco influence, so it's not like top of the list, but it's nice, strong, soft rock core, and it's good. I like it. It's a good song.
I didn't mention this, but before we talk about every song, we're gonna put a little snippet of the song in there. So I will either drop it when Manster said the name, or I'll drop it at the end here, and then before everyone going out from here on out, we'll drop it right after we say the song title.
I don't know what I'd do without you, babe. I don't know where I'd be. You're not just another lover, no, you're everything to me. Every time I'm with you, baby, I can't believe.
I kind of wish we could hear it and sing along with it because that would be kind of fun. But
I'm not that prepared.
yeah, me too.
I do like that song, but not on my list. I wanna kiss you all over. Yeah. And over again. Yeah. All right. Good start. All right. My number 10 is a song that's a little bit more, it's kind of a upbeat number, talking about that kind of tempo, piano-based song from a singer-songwriter named Andrew Gold, and the song is called Lonely Boy. Let's listen to a little bit of it right here.
Well, he ran down the hall and he cried. Oh, how could his parents have lied when they said he was their only son? He thought he was their only one.
So it was featured on his second album called What's Wrong with This Picture, came out in March of 1977. Little factoid about this one, Linda Ronstadt is on backing vocals, and this is not the only song that on my list that Linda Ronstadt is backing vocals on that I didn't know that she was backing vocals on. This got as high as number 7 in the U.S. Billboard Hot 100s, August 1st of 1981. It was the final video played on MTV's first day, and it was featured in films such as The Waterboy, Boogie Nights, covered by the Foo Fighters in 2000, and Andrew Gold is probably pretty well known, even though he didn't perform it for the show, but he wrote Thank You for Being a Friend, the theme song to the Golden Girls. And he actually has his own version from the 70s. It's just a good song. It's a song about, it sounds like it's a song about a kid who his parents had another kid and they don't seem to really give as much of a shit about him anymore. But it's very upbeat. It's got some really good vocals, and it doesn't sound like a song about somebody that's like complaining about being second in his parents' eyes, if that's what it's really about. But it's just a really fucking fun and good song, and it's totally indicative and like just makes me think of the 70s, right? Because it is just a 70s song. There's just something about there's something about the 80s, something about the 90s, where if you lived through those eras, you could just say it's a 70s song.
I'm sure I would recognize the song, but I can't. All I can think of now when I hear Lonely Boy is the Black Keys.
Okay.
They got a great song called Lonely Boy. By the way, on the Yacht ski scale, that is 29.5.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. There's one I'm nervous about not being very high on the Yacht ski scale, but
well, I'll find each one of your scores.
All right. Manster, what is your number 9?
All right. This next one, it's another really sexy, smooth, kind of soft rock ballad, but really, really good musicians, very romantic, by Atlanta Rhythm Section, So Into You.
Okay, this is a good one. Let's listen to a bit of it. All right, tell us about this song, Manster.
I don't have much written down. I just like you got that so into you, you into me, me into you, it's just great. It's I'll say it, when Candy and I first started dating, which was long distance, I sent her a song every single day for a long time, like a year and a half. I sent her a new song, and I won't lie, a lot of the songs on my list are songs that I sent her. So.
Okay.
That one has a yacht ski scale of 69.
Oh, let's not get too far into that.
So it is pretty high up on the scale.
That's nice, man. I'm pretty sure some of our female listeners, their hearts opened up to you, and some of them, if not the same ones, their basements flooded for you at that moment that you just admitted that. That's very cool. I think that's very cool. It is a good song. It's not on my list. But it is a good song. I won't turn it off when I'm listening to it. By the way, I recently, in the last, 2 months, I signed up for, Sirius, XM, in my car. My car was my wife's car. She had Sirius and then had canceled it out, and I had just never thought about it. And they sent me an email that was like $4 for, 58 months or something that I couldn't say no to. So I got it, and, Yacht Rock is channel 311 on that. And I've since we decided to do this episode, I've been kind of hitting on it pretty good. So
yeah, it is. I don't have it programmed on mine, but we do listen to it in the house every once in a while. There's only so much yacht rock I can take, though.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But it's good if you're having a little bit of a stressful day. You could go both ways. You can listen to something heavy and kind of like gear into it, or you can go, I'm going to let the Atlanta rhythm section bring me down, get me back to neutral. All right. My number 9 is a song by a gentleman, who is just, his name echoes amongst the, rock and roll and soft rock halls of infinity. Everybody knows who this is. His name is Walter Egan. No, nobody knows who that is, but he does have a song that I've always loved called Magnet and Steel. And I'm going to make you listen to a little bit of it right here.
For you are a magnet and I am steel. I can't hope that.
Okay, Magnet and Steel was off of Walter Egan's second album called Not Shy, released in March of 78, peaked at number 8 on the Billboard 100 charts. His album was produced by a couple of people that actually their names do echo in the halls of rock eternity. And they were a power couple at the time, Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks.
Mm-hmm.
And I never noticed it until listening to this song while preparing for this episode, but they sing backing vocals on this song. And it is very clear it's them when you listen to it. It's very much kind of a slow tempo song, really clean vocals, and the whole thing is it's a love song, and he's saying that you are a magnet and I am steel. But I think this is one that might go under some people's radar. So if you don't know it, I mentioned this to a couple people and they didn't know what I was talking about. So if you've never heard it, I suggest you go to YouTube or wherever you find your music and check out Walter Egan, Egan. A
very respectable 37.25.
All right. Do you know this one or no?
No, not off the top of my head.
So just to jog your memory, and please forgive me for doing this, but you are a magnet and I'm steel. It's awful.
I don't recognize it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry I did that to you folks.
We might have a list of your stuff.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah, you might hear a little bit of singing in this one. Sorry about that. All right, Manster, we are to your number. Are we at 8? Are we at 8 now?
Number 8.
Yes, you're number 8.
And I wish I did as much research as you, but funnily enough, both of our number 8s have the same Yachtski score. My number 8, before I started here, was a different song. And when I looked up the Yachtski scale, it scored as 0. It was not on the list. So I took it off. I will tell you what that is at the end. But I replaced it with this song, which I was wanting to put on this list anyway. It is called Doctor My Eyes by Jackson Browne, 1972.
Let's hear a clip of that.
The sky is a surprise for having learned how not to cry.
Yeah, I know this one. Jackson Browne's one of those guys, I don't ever think about Jackson Browne. I've never listened to an album, but if you mention one of his songs, I like it. Like Somebody's Baby, or I like them.
Yeah, I like Jackson Browne. I didn't have any albums, but the music growing up in the 70s, a lot of Jackson Browne. You got, is it Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Yeah.
Right, he was in that too. Yeah, it's got, it's laid back, it's smooth, it's good. It's got some electric pianos and synthesizers and layered. I like the layered harmonies, which is, there's one of my songs coming up is super layered harmonies, and it's amazing. These are not quite your romantic type lyrics. It's not a love song. It's more introspective and melancholy than your typical yacht rock. It's got themes of disillusionment and weariness and stuff. But hey, that's what they go through in life.
That's it.
Yeah. So Jackson Browne, Doctor My Eyes.
All right. My dog likes that song. He's getting excited there. All right. So that was your number 8. My number 8 is a song that I think has just incredible. It's got so many incredible elements to it. The vocals are great. There's a guitar solo in it that's great. It's one that I've always liked. It's from a band called Elvin Bishop, and it's Fooled Around and Fell in Love.
Oh, yeah.
Let's listen to a little bit of this here. All right, so if you recognize the vocalist on this song, Elvin Bishop was the guitar player of this band, and he sang songs as well. He had a backing vocalist in this band named Mickey Thomas. Mickey Thomas eventually became the lead singer along with Grace Slick in Jefferson Starship and then Starship. He sang, like We Built the City and all this stuff. This was before then. He was a backing vocalist for Elvin Bishop, and he was asked to sing lead because Elvin Bishop didn't think he had the chops for this particular song. Came out in February of 1976, number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and this one was featured in a ton of movies. Big Daddy, Boogie Nights, Guardians of the Galaxy, just so many different things. The drummer from this band too, Elvin Bishop, Donnie Baldwin, joined Mickey Thomas when he was with Mickey Thomas when they joined Starship together. So just a great song though. Great guitar solo. Just a song. It's another one like about a guy. It sounds like it's about a guy who fooled around and fell in love and then kind of he fucked around and found out. But it's just, his voice is so incredible. Free on my own, all that stuff. And the guitar solo. And, it just really, it's one of those yacht rock songs that's a little bit heavier on the rock scale, but it's still I still would expect to hear it playing from a tape player while I'm out fishing in the Florida Keys. I don't know, fucking drinking a Busch Light in 1983. Manster, what does this song rate on the Yachtski scale?
I can't even believe this, right? It's not coming up.
Okay. All right.
It has
fair.
to be though. Fooled Around. Because all I can do is do a search, but no, it's not. It doesn't show up on the list.
Okay, fair. I still consider it a yacht rock song.
Yeah, for sure. It has all those elements.
Like I said, a little bit heavier, rocky maybe, but yeah, just really clean vocals, a good instrumentation, lost love song, or a love affair that was a failure, which we all know about. All right, Manster, let's go to your number 7. What are we talking about?
I'm going to start getting into stuff pretty soon. Well, no, most of these are still pretty good. Some of the bands that when I did some research, they listed some bands of a lot. And I'm like, you know what? I don't consider that band a yacht rock band. They're just a really tight, very good, great musicianship. But they have some smooth songs that fit into this category. And this one that popped up a lot, which I didn't choose. I chose another one of their songs, but the one that really popped up a lot was called Peg. The one I'm picking is by Steely Dan, my number 7, called Do It Again from 1972. It did reach number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. And while it does have a lot of the smooth elements, it also has a strong Latin influence and a very unique sound. The intro of this song is great. I mean, that's just so yacht rocky to me. But it does feature a very unusual after the second verse. It features an electric sitar solo.
Yeah.
And then right following that, it's like a plastic organ solo by Donald Fagen, which is really kind of like the same theme. It's like the same solo, just one's on a sitar, one's on the organ. It's really fun. It's ambiguous. It's not romantic. I don't even know what the fuck the song's about. Go back, Jack, do it again. I don't really know what the song's about, but it's really good. So let's give that a listen.
All right, here we go. Steely Dan, Do It Again.
They catch you at the border, and the mourners are all singing as they drag you by your feet. But the hangman isn't hanging, and they put you on.
Yeah, if you get a chance to see the yacht rock documentary that's playing on Max, I won't spoil it for you, but let's just put it this way. Donald Fagen, the surviving member of Steely Dan, does not like his band to be lumped into yacht rock at all. And you have to watch the documentary. It's at the very end, but you'll see how he feels about it. But yeah, I love Steely Dan, and I won't tell you which song, but I have a Steely Dan song on my list as well.
So I did not mention, I don't think, the Yacht ski scale for this one is 39.5.
Okay. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. I think my Steely Dan song is going to be a little bit higher, but
yeah,
good to know. All right. So that was your number 7. Let's go to my number 7. My number 7, I love the ending of this song. Like, this song, like, kind of, like, this song is fucking infectious, I think. It's Orleans, Still the One.
Yeah.
Let's listen to this. So Orleans was formed in 1972 in Woodstock, New York. Their 4th album was called Waking and Dreaming, and that's what this is off of. August of 1976, it topped at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Linda Ronstadt, backing vocals, didn't know that. This is a song in a world of songs about breaking up that is about, like, being in love with your partner of a long time. It's weird because people only write breakup songs, it seems like. But this song is literally him saying, and it is written about the I can't remember, I didn't write down the guy who wrote its name from Orleans, his wife. He wrote it about his wife, still the one. You know, we're still having fun. You know, you're still the one. It's just, I hate to use this fucking word. It's peppy. I hate fucking using that word, but it's got real pep to it. And it just kind of builds. And then at the end, when you get to that last bit where it's like the guitar and it's going out and it's kind of like the vocal harmonies and they're just like kind of singing their way out. It's fucking fantastic. And this is one of those songs, like, I know maybe all yacht rock songs necessarily shouldn't do this, but there's a couple on my list. This is one of those songs that when I hear it, I want to drive through a fucking wall. Like, I want to turn the volume up to a fucking 109, mash my Subaru's gas pedal to the fucking floor, and I want to throw all Abandon to the wind and drive through a fucking wall. I just like this song. It's a happy song, and it's so unusual because it's like about like, hey, we've been together a long time and shit's still working out. Like things like that, right?
Yeah.
So
it's good stuff. Do you remember back in the it must have been the 80s, where Still the One was like the theme song of was it ABC?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think it was ABC. Yeah,
it's been used multiple times. That was one of the things I read when I did the research. I didn't write them down, but it's been used multiple times because, like, listen to the title, right? Like, you could just take away all of the relationship nonsense and go, "Oh, Still the One." Like, this is about us being the best, right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. So your yacht ski scale for Still the One is 31.25.
I would have thought higher. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Manster, let's head on over to your number 6.
Oh, I can't wait to give this one a listen. This is by my number 6 is by a duo. Came out in 1976. It was their first top 40 hit, I believe. Hall & Oates, Sarah Smile.
All you got to do is say so. And when you feel cold, I'll warm you. And when you feel you can't go on, I'll come and hold you.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
So good. I love it. He wrote it about his girlfriend, Daryl Hall. No, John.
Oh, Daryl Hall.
Daryl Hall. Yeah, wrote it about his girlfriend. And it's just so great. I love Hall & Oates. I love the way they make me feel, like with almost all of their songs. It's that line, when I feel cold, you warm me. When I feel I can't go on, you come and hold me. It's you and me forever. It's so beautiful, I'm getting all sappy and whatnot, but it's beautiful. It reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. I remember the time we were talking about, I think maybe it was our 80s album show, and we talked about a Hall & Oates song, and you had me guess what your favorite Hall & Oates song was, and I guessed it on my first try.
I don't remember.
It was not Sarah Smile. It was METHODOFLOVE.
It's a method of modern love. I love that song.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it too. It's my favorite. So on the Yacht ski scale, Sarah Smile scores a 32.
We live in a different world ever since we found out last year that like they hate each other now.
Right.
Like I honestly,
a restraining order.
If you had told me, my parents are both gone now, but if you had told me at 15 years old that my parents were going to get divorced, I would have taken that with less surprise than Hall & Oates, like not liking each other, restraining orders getting involved. I don't know. It's like you can't rely on anything anymore. Yeah. All right. So that is your number 6. My number 6 is a song that admittedly reminds me very much of my mom, and I'll explain why in a second. It's from a band that is known for ballads, known for incredible rhythmic pop songs and beyond. Earth, Wind, and Fire. After the Love Has Gone. Let's listen to a bit of that right now. All right, so the story with my mom is, and I think I was telling somebody this very recently, when I was a little boy, my mom, and this is like, say, like 1979, 1980, 1981, 5, 6 years old. My mom, I remember very clearly, used to take our kitchen table and bring it from the kitchen into our living room in this apartment we lived in, and that's when she would mop the kitchen floor, maybe every couple weeks, I don't know. But I used to, when she would do that, go under the table in the living room and play. Like, I would pretend I was in a ship. I clearly remember these things. And this was at a time where in my living room, there was a hi-fi set, and it always was tuned into, at the time, what wasn't called yacht rock, but probably what was like a soft rock station that my mom would listen to. And my mom loved Earth, Wind, and Fire, and this song was omnipresent, very much so, and burned into my memory. So this came out in July of 1979. It topped off at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 2 on the Hot R&B Singles Chart. The thing that's crazy about this, and I still have not gone to listen to the other version yet, is that a group called Airplay recorded it in 1979 as well. Now, this song I've always struggled to remember whether it's called After the Love Has Gone or Is Gone. The Earth, Wind, and Fire version is After the Love Has Gone. The Airplay version is called After the Love Is Gone, but it is a cover version. The writers of the song were Jay Graydon and David Foster, and they were also the guys in Airplay. So they wrote the song for Earth, Wind, and Fire and then recorded it under their own band name. Maurice White was the lead singer in Earth, Wind, and Fire, the kind of main lead singer. And he also does backing vocals on this. And Philip Bailey, who is, the other lead singer in Earth, Wind, and Fire, just does backing vocals on this. And Philip Bailey would go on years later to obviously do Easy Lover with Phil Collins. And obviously,
She's an easy lover.
She got a hold on you, believe it. That's another one that's sad. Phil Collins is not doing well.
Oh, I know.
He's
That's
very
horrible.
sick. But yeah, so this song is just incredible. And I refuse to believe that this is anything less than a 45 on a yacht rock scale, Manster.
Well, my friend, I think you might be surprised.
Oh,
You probably have the highest one on our list
I knew it.
besides a certain one. It scores at 88.25.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This song is incredible. And again, this one's a lost love song. You know, after the love is gone or after the love has gone, you know, how could you lead me on? Like it's so good. And it's got saxophone in it. And it's just,
Oh yeah.
it's like a progenitor to like 80s R&B. It's also something you would hear in a dentist's office. It's fucking great. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. Another Earth, Wind, and Fire story that I'll tell real quick. I still have the ticket. Me and my wife, Lindsay, were supposed to go see Earth, Wind, and Fire on a very notable day. 9/11/01 at the Oakdale in Wallingford.
Shit. Wow.
We had tickets to see Earth, Wind, and Fire on 9/11. Obviously, the show was postponed. They held it a week later. The Oakdale filled up, and they played, and the first two songs was like being in a mausoleum. And after about the first two songs, Philip Bailey and I can't remember because I think Maurice White was either dead or out of the band by then. Whoever the other lead singer were came out and basically said, "We understand what happened. We understand where everybody is right now. Let's let it go for 2 hours and let's just have fun." And it honestly, it was like a switch flipped and people just got up and let go of it for a little while. But I will never forget that. And I keep all my concert tickets, and I have a ticket somewhere in my collection that says Earth, Wind, and Fire 9/11/2001.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Crazy time, man.
All right, that was my number 6. You did your number 6, so we're at number 5, Manster.
That's right. And you mentioned the writer of that song was from Airplay. Airplay was one of those bands in the top 10.
You're right.
That we didn't know. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what Airplay apparently was it was those two guys who were writers and producers who decided, because they saw the success that the guys from Toto had, because the guys from Toto were mostly writers and producers who formed the band Toto to try to put out their own stuff. And Airplay had done that. I had never heard of them before. And you even mentioned them right now. I didn't know what you're talking about until I reread my notes and went, that's the same guys. Okay. Yeah.
Not to be confused with Air Supply.
Air Supply. Correct.
All right. We are getting into the top 5 now. I don't know if you've got this on your list, but I suspect maybe it is the theme to a movie. It's a 1981 song. Arthur's theme, The Best That You Can Do by Christopher Cross. It was the theme to the movie Arthur. And let's give that a listen.
Well, I'm not going to run under your thunder, but all I will say before you talk is you got my number 1, buddy.
Oh,
it's okay.
You should say low.
It was low. You got my number 1. This song can make me want to also just run through a wall, but go ahead and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. It's obviously all the things that we spoke of, what makes a yacht rock song. It's got a wistful romanticism to it. It was written in collaboration with Christopher Cross, Burt Bacharach, Bacharach's then wife, Carol Bayer Sager, and Liza Minnelli's ex-husband, Australian songwriter Peter Allen. He created the line, "When you get caught between the moon and New York City." Hey, I went for it.
There you go. I like it.
Because he was on a plane in some kind of cycle where he couldn't land, and he was between the moon and New York City, and so that's where he came up with the line.
It's one of the, and this is hyperbole aside, "Between the Moon and New York City" is one of the greatest song lyrics ever written.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so fucking good. And just to throw this in there, in case you haven't in years, listeners or Lloyd or anybody, a couple years ago, I rewatched Arthur for the first time in a very long time. That movie slaps. It is so fucking funny. It is so good. The guy who wrote it and directed it died the year after it came out. So even though that movie's very famous and Dudley Moore, obviously, it's a feather in his cap along with everything else he did. What could have come from that guy otherwise? But that movie does everything right. It's a love story. It's funny as shit. It's got an incredible cast. If you haven't seen Arthur, go check it out.
I have not, and I have been planning to watch it. Perhaps I'll watch it after this episode.
You should, and watch it with Candy, because obviously, as the title implies, it's set in New York City.
Yeah,
and she'll dig that.
It did win the year's Best Original Song at the Oscars that year, and it was number 1 Billboard Hot 100 for 3 consecutive weeks. And the yacht ski scale is 56.25.
That's bullshit. Like, that is the only time I'll say bullshit. This song should be at about a 96. It should be right up there. I'll just say this for my research. Christopher Cross was the first artist in history to win 4 major Grammys in one go. He won Best Record, Best Album, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist. at the 23rd Grammys. Nobody did that again for 39 years. And Billie Eilish did it at the 62nd Grammys a couple years ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
he won all 4 majors. He really kind of peaked out around that time, but he still is active. He still has a career. He still goes out and tours. But like that dude came out of nowhere. And whether or not we'll talk about them anymore on this, he's got a couple other yacht rock fucking classics. I don't know if they're any on your list or not on mine, but this
No
guy's
more on mine.
okay. So we can talk about him real quick. Sailing.
Yep.
What's that one called? Thinking About Laura. And then of course, a song that's considered yacht rock, but is so fucking memorable, or at least, I don't know what you would call it, like catches the spirit of something. America's like most well-known motorcycle company, Harley Davidson. You think of Harley Davidson, you tend to think of like tough guys, but meanwhile, his song Ride Like the Wind is their fucking
Ride Like the
theme
Wind.
song.
Yeah.
That's their theme song. That's the song they use for everything. It's just, this guy is a fucking national treasure.
Yeah, he was a banger back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. All right. So that was your number 5. That was my number 1. I'll mention it again when we get to the end. My number 5 is a song that has already been mentioned. It is Steely Dan, Peg.
Oh, okay.
You didn't pick that one. Let's listen to it for a second.
I know I love you better. Hey, it will come back to you. Hey, it will come back to you.
So this is one of the ones that dips into Michael McDonald territory. Michael McDonald was a studio musician at one point, and he did a lot of background vocals for Steely Dan. And I don't remember if the bit I cut out has it in it, but if you go and listen to Peg by Steely Dan, listen to the chorus, and if you can't tell that's Michael McDonald in the background going Peg, then you don't have fucking ears. He's doing the harmonies and the backing vocals there. Another connection to something we've been talking about that's kind of come up again is Jay Graydon from Airplay was the lead guitarist on this song, on Peg. There's something, I'm not a musician, and he talks about this on the Yacht Rock documentary too. So Jay Graydon got brought in. They took 7 different studio guitar players to try the solo that either Walter Becker or Donald Fagen had written for the song, and they could not, none of them could get it right. This is like essentially saying like the best guitar players for money couldn't do it. And Jay Graydon came in and he knocked it out, and that's what they used in the actual final recording. And he is one of the guys from Airplay. So, and then let's see, De La Soul sampled this on their first album for a song called I Know. But yeah, this is just like kind of an upbeat. This sounds like, I don't know, it's just got, there's like, it sounds like watching a Harlem Globetrotters basketball video, like a highlight video. You could see them like fucking shooting to this song. It's got that heavy organ. Steely Dan, if you're not familiar with Steely Dan, very kind of jazz influence, but also rock and roll. And this is a great uplifting song, and it's got Michael McDonald all over it. I love this song.
Yeah, they both, yours and mine, the both of those have that intro where it's just like, mine's like, and it just got a groove. That's what it's the main thing about these. They got a groove. Where are we now?
Wait, Yachtski scale. Yachtski scale. Bro.
Oh, Yachtski scale.
Yachtski scale, bro.
Oh yeah.
So people are looking forward to this now.
Hold on.
I'm going to say 75.
I got into like listening to it, but you've got the top 2 highest so far.
Yeah, baby.
Peg comes in with a 92 score.
Yeah, it does.
90 friggin' 2.
I'll take it. All right, what are we up to? What are we at?
I think I'm on my number 4.
You're on your number 4, okay.
All right, so my number 4, oh boy, this one, as soon as I hear the first like guitar strumming of it, chills down my spine. I love this song. It's by Crosby, Stills and Nash, or CSN. It's called Southern Cross. Not Christopher Cross, but Southern Cross.
Let's listen to a bit of that.
When you see the Southern Cross for the first time.
You got my number 3, buddy.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah. 3. My 4, your 3. Written by Stephen Stills and Rick and Michael Curtis. David Crosby was out of the band at this point, but he came back before the album came out, so he is on the album, but not singing on the song.
Not on this song. I never knew that.
Not on the song.
He's in the video. So here's a little bit.
Yeah, right, in the video.
Daylight Again, their fourth album as a trio, September of 1982. It hit number 18 on the Billboard 100. The final Crosby, Stills, and Nash song to hit the top 40 at all. David Crosby is not on vocals on this album at all. Or I'm sorry, on this song.
Right.
So it was written by Stills, like you said. Timothy B. Schmidt from the Eagles, the guy that sings the lead on I Can't Tell You Why, was brought in to replicate David Crosby's harmonies on a lot of these songs that Stephen Stills and Graham Nash were performing. The record company would not release this album until they got David Crosby involved in it. So David Crosby came back and he plays, I think maybe guitar on one song and backing vocals on, I think, 1 or 2. So he's on it minimally. But like, I've seen this video a million times. He's in the video. This song reminds me very much of my father. My father loved Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and he loved this song in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that David Crosby is not on this song, I feel like I was sold a I don't know, like a bill of bullshit. Like, I'm shocked that it's just 2 of them, but it still sounds great. It
still sounds great. And I've got a little history about the song.
Oh yeah, go for it.
First of all, is this not the first song we've mentioned that has anything to do with sailing in the ocean?
Yeah, this is true.
Considering that it's a yacht rock.
Yeah, this song's basically about boating. Yeah.
Yeah, a sailor's journey across the ocean. The Southern Cross is a constellation of stars. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that. You know, it kind of has a feeling of like wanderlust, right? So this was written, like I said before, partially by Rick and Michael Curtis, who had written a song earlier, maybe a year earlier or 2 years, I'm not sure exactly, and they recorded it. And guess who were the backing singers on that song? The same 2 that you had already mentioned, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh, okay.
It's a song called 7 League Boots.
Yeah, you sent me that clip.
Yeah,
it's like, holy shit.
I sent you that, right? I turned it on not knowing what to expect, and it's basically just a weak-ass version of Southern Cross.
It is. Yeah, it totally is.
But the lyrics and everything are totally different. There's like one little area that's kind of the same, but when you hear it, you're like, you just think Southern Cross in your head. You can't even fathom that there's another song.
I'm keeping in touch with a good love on your mind. I can see our time's gonna come. It's no use wasting. These 7 leagues are gonna move in with your love take.
A far inferior song.
Yeah.
On the Yacht scale, you're not going to like this.
Yeah, no, I bet you low.
Only 31.25.
Yeah, it's okay. It was one of the songs that's on my list very high that I don't know if I would consider it yacht rock truly. It's, you know, it's kind of soft vocal rock, but it's so fucking good. It's one of those songs that, like, I don't know if I'm one of those people that necessarily listens heavily to the lyrics of music all the time. Like, I do find lyricism in song and music, like, very important. But sometimes I just get caught more in the groove of everything. But, you know, this was written essentially, or, you know, taken from the bones of that other song. And it's about Stephen Stills, who got divorced and decided to sail his yacht around the world. And the lyrics are just him talking about that. And I think we've all been in a place like that in our life where it's like, wow, what must it be like to be able to get on a boat and escape? He's able to do it. You know, good for him. He deserves it. At the time, he's one of the richest, you know, musicians around. But, but yeah, there's something real, you said like wanderlust, like a reawakening or rebirth. It's just a really fucking good song. And then when you get down to it, you know, unfortunately knowing Crosby's not there is one thing, but like any combination of those 2 guys could sing the fucking paint off of the side of a house. Right?
I guess that's a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
Oh man, good stuff. I'm surprised you and I both had it so close out of, you know, so many songs that we could have picked.
Yeah. All right. So that was your number 4. Let's hit my number 4. This one is actually, it's late 80s, so it's kind of out of, like, I think yacht rock, a lot of them, they say it's like late 70s, early 80s, but this one, there's just something about it that feels so right to me. And I cannot lie, when I hear the song on the radio, which isn't a lot, but like, I want to hear this song. I want people to be quiet. Be quiet. Don't talk. It is a song from a guy named Eric Carmen, not Eric Cartman. It's called Make Me Lose Control. Let's listen to a bit of that right now.
Sweet sound, hold me close, never let me go. Keep this feeling alive, make me lose control. Baby, when I look in your eyes.
All right, so Make Me Lose Control came out in 1988. It hit number 3 on Billboard's Hot 100. Eric Carmen was a member of a group called the Raspberries in the 60s and 70s. Their big hit song, you probably know, is called Go All the Way. Mm-hmm. But he kind of hit it big in his solo career with a hit from Dirty Dancing called Hungry Eyes. I don't really give a shit about that song. He co-wrote this song with another gentleman, and it was a big hit in 1988, and they co-wrote a song in 1984 that was a big hit off the Footloose soundtrack called Almost Paradise, if you remember that one. Mm-hmm. So Mike Reno from Loverboy and Nancy Wilson, or Ann Wilson from Heart. Make Me Lose Control. And I think I kind of was doing my research. I think this song has had a big resurgence last year because I think it was played at some point in Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine once. I don't remember this song from it, but there was a lot of needle drops in that. So I guess the song kind of jumped out again, but this song reminds me heavily of like a 50s or 60s kind of love song, kind of like bassy vocal quality. It's just this guy, talking about how he's so in love with this woman, he loses control. But his voice is really good. It's really strong, and, it's really catchy, and it is late for a yacht rock song, and this was the one that I almost would guarantee is not going to be on the Yachtski scale. The one that I said earlier was kind of like, I figured I was maybe pushing it a little bit. This is maybe more soft rock territory, but I don't know. I love this song. Master, you know this one?
No, and I didn't hear the snippet you played, obviously, because we're doing that in post.
Yeah, that'll be in post. You'll hear it and you'll go, I know that one, and I don't want to sing it again. I want to keep our listeners. I don't want to sing it again.
Right.
But it's a good one.
You are correct in that it does not appear on the list.
This was one that I struggled with, and it was my last edition. It kind of ended up high on my list because I kind of made a mistake numbering some stuff. But I do love this song, so I'm okay with it being this high.
Yeah.
All right, Master, what is your number 3?
All right, so I'm thinking you have 3 songs left, right? And I already know 2 of them.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if this song will be on your list, or any one of my top 3 might be on your list here. It is Rupert Holmes' "Escape," the Pina Colada song from 1979.
It is not, and let's play it and hear it anyway.
Where we'll plan our escape.
Tell us about the Pina Colada song, Master.
This song's just so fun. Basically, it just tells a funny story. Funny, I guess, about a man sitting in his bed with his lady sleeping right beside him, and he's looking in the personal ads to hook up because he's tired of the same old dull routine, and he just wants a little something more out of life. And he sees an ad, if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, you're not into yoga, and you have half a brain, come meet me. We'll make love at midnight. And he's like, yeah, I'm all for that. He goes, he does his own personal ad, a witty little reply, and he says, meet me, at this bar. And in walks his own lovely lady. He recognized the curve of her face and her smile, and it's like, I never knew you liked pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. And it's just fucking such a good song.
It is a good song. It's got a twist ending. You gotta love that.
Yeah.
you know, the Pina Colada song by M. Night Shyamalan. It's, and this guy, have you ever seen the video? What a fucking nerd, man. Like, what a nerd. This guy was not making love in the rain with anybody, but
No.
You know,
and he never had a pina colada in his life.
Oh, really? One of the funnier bits, I think, is that, you know, he was reading the personals. This song could have easily been called Hand Job in an Arby's Bathroom. If he had just gone one square down. Hand job in an Arby's bathroom. I just came on the toilet tank.
Oh, boy. If you like warmed up a roast beef.
Do you know
I got some roast beef for you.
You know, people say I was this many years old when I found out blah or whatever.
Yeah.
I think last year is the year that like somebody pointed out to me that Arby's, Arbys,
yep,
is called that because they serve roast beef, RBs, roast beef.
Right.
Yeah, like no fucking idea.
Kind of, but it also stands for the initials of the people who invented it too.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's really a dual thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because Arby's just works. It just works.
It's a perfect name.
All right. That was your number.
Yatsky scale?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yatsky scale.
It's kind of low, but it's not the lowest on this list. It is. Oh, actually, no. I'm looking at the wrong one. No, it's mediocre. It's on par with some of the other ones. 35.25.
Okay, that's not too bad. All right, my number 3 we discussed was Southern Cross by Crosby, Stills, and Nash, or more likely Stills and Nash. So let's jump back to you for your number 2, Manster.
Wow. All righty. My number 2. I wanted to put this at number 1. And I kept listening to the 2 songs back and forth. I'm just like, yeah, this number 1, it really, really is just the epitome of what I think is yacht rock. But it was a tough choice. In my number 2, boy, I wish I could just blow those horns right now. I could hear them. It is 1972, Chicago, Saturday in the Park.
Let's hear that. Let's hear them horns.
Another day in the park. I think it was the 4th of July. People talking, really smiling. A man plays guitar.
Thinking about the 4th of July.
Yeah, I listened to that before this episode. It was like the last thing I listened to. I don't even have anything written up for it other than written by Robert Lamb and recorded, for their album Chicago 5. And it reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's just so great to listen to. This is one of those songs that just brings me back to my youth. I was maybe 6 years old, 5, 6 years old, something like that. I would hear this it's just so great. It's the epitome of Chicago for me. You got 25 or 6 to 4 and you got some other stuff, but Chicago is just Saturday in the Park. It brings up so many images and just so much nostalgia for me. It's not high on the Yatsky scale. I thought it would be closer. I didn't know the score when I put it here, but it only scores 22.25.
Maybe too old. It might. Was that 70?
72.
72. Maybe too old. Maybe they weren't pulling from that early. Like I tend to think like late 70s to early 80s, but
yeah,
like Make Me Lose Control is 88. That's one of the reasons I felt like that might not fit, but I love that song, so I totally get it. And Peter Cetera, like you can't have like a lovelorn white guy countdown and not have fucking Peter Cetera, right? Like he just did it so well and so hard. Like Chicago was like this kind of rock band in the 60s and 70s that like in the 80s morphed into like dentist office music, but like the songs are so fucking good.
Yeah, they're great.
The songs are so good. All right, so that's your number 2. My number 2, which is the last original that I'm going to talk about because we already heard my number 1, but I'll mention it again in a second. My number 2 is just one of the best fucking songs of all time, period. Like just go out and find the song on YouTube or buy a CD or whatever kids do nowadays. I don't know. My number 2 is by the legendary musician Joey Scarberry. And it is the theme from The Greatest American Hero.
Oh yeah.
AKA Believe It or Not. Let's hear a bit of that right now.
Just like the light of a new me from out of the blue, breaking me out of the spell I was in, making all of my wishes.
In May of 1981, I was like 6 or 5 years old, turning 6, 5, whatever. This was number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100s, 18 weeks on the top 40. It was composed by Mike Post. Mike Post is a guy that has done a lot of television music. He is the guy who did the theme for Law & Order. Dung dung. He did the theme for Quantum Leap. And he produced, strangely enough, the Van Halen album with Gary Cherone, Van Halen 3. But this was one of 2 opening theme songs he did for, neither one of them were super popular 80s shows, but he did this for The Greatest American Hero, and him and Joey Scarberry did the theme song for Hardcastle and McCormick. So they worked together at different points. This song is just, I think everybody knows this song. The Seinfeld used it to great effect when George, made it his own for his answering machine. It's just such an uplifting song. You know, believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I would feel this free, right? The show was a favorite of mine as a kid. It was about a school teacher who was not meant to receive this super suit from aliens that was going to essentially make him the world's greatest superhero. But he accidentally received it. Okay, the guy who was supposed to receive it didn't get it. He got it, but he didn't get the instruction manual with it. So he is this like failing hero. Very cool show. I think it lasted a season or 2. It also is well known because the main character, played by William Catt, the hero, originally, I think when the first episode aired, his name was Ralph Hinckley, and they had to change it to Ralph Handley because John Hinckley shot Reagan like right around the same time. So they had to like fucking like change things pretty quickly. The show didn't last very long. People know of the show, The Greatest American Hero. You could probably find it on YouTube or maybe some of those like Roku channels or stuff. But I think everybody knows that fucking song.
Yeah, for sure.
It's incredible. It's, I don't know. It's another one. I will run through you play this song, I'll run through your grandmother's walls to see you on the other side. I love this song. So that's my number 2. Manster, if you tell me this has a low Yachtski score, I'm going to run through your wall right now.
All right. I will tell you it is equivalent to one of our other songs.
Okay.
Arthur's theme. So it scores a 56.25.
Figured it had to.
Top half. Upper echelon.
Yeah.
All right. It's down to my number 1. We know you're number 1. Look, I've been kind of bucking the system through this, kind of a little here and there, but my number 1, I can't deny the yacht rock excellence of the Doobie Brothers, What a Fool Believes, from 1979. Let's listen to it.
Keep sending him somewhere back in long ago, where he can still believe there's a place in her life. Someday, somewhere, she will return.
Yeah, good stuff. It's not my favorite Doobie Brothers song, I will tell you that. But it is absolutely the yacht rock epitome. Written by Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins in their first ever collaboration. They both recorded it as well. Kenny Loggins recorded it in 1978, and then the Doobies, 1979? No, 1978. Oh, yeah, both in 1978, but his was much earlier, Kenny Loggins. But it's forgettable. You don't even know the Kenny Loggins, What a Fool Believes. You don't even know it. They did such a great job. You know, Michael McDonald, I mean, come on, this guy, he was featured quite a bit in that Yacht Rock documentary. He was out there all over the place. He likes to put himself, he likes to put himself into a position where he's uncomfortable singing. That's how he gets his best like vocal quality, which is pretty amazing when you think about it.
He's always had just such an incredible voice too. Like the look, everything, like the shell hair, the beard, that's all one piece, the bluesy kind of almost like black guy high pitched vocals, right? Like,
Oh
that,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
seemed to be coming out of a different person. Yeah.
And so this song hit number one, obviously, on the Billboard Top 100 in April of 1979. Won Grammy Awards in 1980 for Song of the Year and Record of the Year. And it's funny because, you know, the lyrics got some pretty damn good lyrics. Like those two guys are really good songwriters. It basically, it's about the lies like you tell yourself about former romance. So the protagonist of the song, he runs into an old flame and believes that he made a major impact on her life and that he can like get her back again. But basically she barely even recognizes who he is. So it's like, there's no memory there of this guy. And, you know, that's the whole thing. What a fool believes.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a great song. It's perfect. It scores 100 on the Yachtski scale.
It's fair. I didn't purposely try not to put a Michael McDonald or Toto song on my list.
I tried to stay away.
I tried to go with what I love. I do love some Doobie Brothers. I love What a Fool Believes, but if you had to hit me with just a straight up Doobie Brothers song that I could listen to every day, it keeps you running.
Oh yeah.
That fucking, it keeps you running. I fucking love that song, man. That's another one. I want to punch a hole in my drywall.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah,
I might have to see someone about my feelings about running through things and punching things.
China Grove. Oh man.
Yeah, oh, so many good ones. So many good ones.
Blackwater.
And Michael McDonald was only brought in as a keyboard player and background vocals, and then the lead singer, guitar player of the Doobie Brothers was out. I can't remember if he was sick or if it was a drug thing or whatnot, but they took him out and made Michael McDonald the leader while the guy was recuperating. And then he kind of like a backup quarterback situation, he kind of took over and it kind of became a thing.
He's kind of the Tom Brady.
The other guy's Drew Bledsoe. Mo Green puts him out, and then fucking in comes Michael McDonald, and he ends up winning 19 Super Bowls. All right, so my number one, as we mentioned before, is the Christopher Cross song, "The Best." Is it called? What is it called? "The Best That You Can Do," right?
It's "Fall in Love."
Arthur's theme.
Yeah,
the best that you could do. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
a lot of these songs have parentheticals in them and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fucking great song. Manster, I don't have many. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I will tell you some. So the one that I took out and put in Doctor My Eyes was Gary Wright, "Love Is Alive." You know, a lot of people go with Dreamweaver. This was on the Dreamweaver album, but it's "Love Is Alive." Give it a listen up on, Google,
I will. I don't know
Spotify or whatever. Is when you hear it, I think you'll recognize it and you'll be like, yeah, this song's even better than Dreamweaver.
Okay.
All right. And then this one, oh my God. Growing up, I remember hanging out at my cousin's house, listening to the radio and hearing a band I never heard of. They must be a one-hit wonder, Starland vocal band, Afternoon Delight.
Oh, yeah.
About fucking in the afternoon.
Sky rockets in flight. Brr, yeah. Sticking it in your tight puss.
And then another one I love, so it's a great song, is Sister Golden Hair.
Yeah. That's an older one too, and I wonder if that one would have any kind of rating on that scale.
Yeah.
All right, I had a couple. Hard Habit to Break by Chicago.
Oh.
It was fucking dangling there. It was like my turd cutter. Couldn't drop it, but I did finally. I thought about, what was the other one? For sure. Oh, Glory of Love by Peter Cetera, which is also Chicago. That one's another one that's really fucking great. There was a couple others that kind of like hit off my head. What a Fool Believes almost made it. Rosanna by Toto.
Yeah, Rosanna.
Just such a great song, but yeah, none of them could make it. All right. So we have talked about our lists. We've talked about our almost 20 songs. We had a couple crossovers, but we said we had some friends that had given their lists. Hold on one second while I grab my phone, which is where they are. Hold on one sec. We mentioned we had our lists from some of our good friends, Laura and Vinny and my girlfriend Heather. They all gave us their top 5 yacht rock lists. So we're going to go through them. Let's start with Heather. I asked her, I watched the documentary with her as well, so we've been kind of talking about this a bit. She's been excited about the episode. So here are her top 5 favorite yacht rock songs. Number 5, a band that was mentioned, but not in either of our lists, Air Supply, Lost in Love. Yeah, that's big time, like dentist office stuff right there. Number 4, she mirrored one of my choices, Orleans, Still the One.
Yep.
Number 3, a Toto song, but we mentioned, I think at one point, Africa and Rosanna, and she went Hold the Line.
Yeah, that's on there.
She went Hold the Line. Number 2, a song that I was always vaguely familiar with, but never really knew what it was called and never knew who it was by, but it is one of her favorites, she told me, Gordon Lightfoot, Sundown. Yeah. I know it was used in the recent Salem's Lot movie a couple times, I believe, because I recognized it, but she was like, this was something that my dad listened to when I was a kid a lot. So I had, but it's not one that I had really been too familiar with other than knowing what it is. And her number 1, gotta go with Christopher Cross. She went with the full yacht rock theme, Sailing.
Sailing. Okay.
Sailing. All right.
Toto appears on the list 25 times.
25 times?
Yeah.
Well, probably because of like backing vocals and stuff too.
They're all Toto. Everyone is a Toto song.
All right, let's go with Vinny, our good friend Vinny. Heather, Vinny, and Laura, by the way, are part of the 4-person trivia team that we play first Wednesday of every month at Best Video in Hamden. Come on down and try to take us on. We have won 14 times out of 18 that we've gone, I think.
I got to get down there one of these days when I don't have my kids.
Get down. So Vinny's number 5 is one of Lloyd's choices by the Atlanta Rhythm section.
Oh.
Vinny is also So Into You.
Nice. Good choice, Vinny.
Number 4, 38 Special, Second Chance. I don't know that one at all. Number 3, by Player.
Oh,
Baby Come Back. Baby Come Back.
Any kind of boo could see.
Oh, you got the little bit of that nice little what do they call that? The high hitting it high.
Yeah, I can hit
it. Number 2 was your number 1. Doobie Brothers, What a Fool Believes.
Okay.
And Vinny's number 1 is a song we mentioned a little bit ago. We mentioned both of these guys at some point in this. Philip Bailey featuring Phil Collins. Easy Lover.
Wow.
Easy Lover. All right, let's drop over to the Redheaded Stranger and finish off this episode with what she thinks about the yacht rock phenomenon, her top 5. Number 5 was on, nobody's shit is on my list. What the fuck? Oh, Heather had one on my list. All right. These guys, though, are not with me. Number 5 on the Mansters list. Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. Number 4, not in either of our lists, and also a good song, but lyrically a creepy as fuck song, Into the Night by Benny Mardonez. That song starts off with, she's only 16 years old or 15 years old. Leave her alone, they say. It's like, yeah, they do say it. Chris Hansen says it.
It's on the list.
It's on the list.
You said creepy song. I thought you were going to talk about the Toadies.
What, Possum Kingdom?
Yeah, Possum Kingdom. Talk creepy songs.
What? Why is that a creepy song? What is that song about?
Remember, I'll Take You Out Behind the... It's about him murdering a chick.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I know, Do You Want to Die? I never thought about that.
Do you want to die?
Okay. All right. Great song. Number 3, Chicago. So she gets Chicago in there. You're the Inspiration. That's a good one. Number 2, Philip Bailey featuring Philip Collins. Wow. Easy Lover.
Okay.
Easy Lover. And number 1, a band named after a very old automobile. Do you know who that is? Can you think of who that might be?
Edsel.
The REO Speedwagon, my friend.
Okay.
Keep on Loving You.
Good one.
So thank you to Heather, Vinny, and Laura for dropping us with some extra lists. And thank you for putting up with a music episode. You're only going to hear that thank you if you downloaded it and listened to it. And by past music episodes, you probably didn't. But we had fun doing this. We're going to do some more music episodes through this year because we didn't do any last year at all. We did none.
Wow.
We did Blue Weezer album on Christmas of 2023.
Okay.
And did nothing else after that. So this year we'll hit a couple more because I think these are fun. I think we do good. I think we had a fun time. I think we did a good job. Manster, tell everybody where they can find us.
Any of your podcatchers, you can find us. We can come out weekly on YouTube, The Pint of Pop Culture Podcast, Instagram at The Pint Pop, and Patreon. You can become an insider at www.patreon.com/The Pint. We have 2 tiers, $2.50 and $4. If you want to support us that way, we would love that. And that's it.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya. That was Michael McDonald saying goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!